We go to Audacity.
Let's fucking do this.
Recording there. Over to YouTube.
Hit it, YouTube.
Go live. Holy shit.
God
We're
damn.
live. It says
my God.
It says it and I can see myself. I think we did it right.
Oh, awesome.
Okay.
Kevin, haven't seen you in like a month.
Good God. I might not make it through this episode because my stress levels have never been higher. The pressure is on.
I'm glad I can do everything to obviously relieve that pressure.
Yeah, you've been great. You've been great moral support.
Thanks.
Which
You're
is
welcome.
more than Tim has been. He's out in the middle of a desert.
What does Tim really do?
Let's just hope Tim is alive. That's really the best we can hope for at this point.
That would be an achievement for him.
It is April 23rd, 2018, and this is Atlanta United FC Weekly, a Home Before Dark podcast.
Oh, yes.
I like that you just filled in for my hype man. That's great.
Absolutely,
Just
man. That's
filling
what that's what I'm here for.
Oh my God, the camera's blurry. Do
you know what? Get over it. Get over it.
Yes, as everyone can see in the trap, we are live without Tim. Dan is here.
You are welcome.
The show must go on. Yeah. Housekeeping as always. We did not get any new reviews.
Oh man, 2 weeks in a row now. I think we hit our peak now.
I think we're plateauing. We got a new rating. I saw that.
Was it a 3-star?
No, 5 stars. That's all we get. That's all we get. But yeah, what else do we have? Fantasy. It's irrelevant.
Well,
that's irrelevant to me now because I've slid.
That's why I came back on the podcast. I'm just glad that the equilibrium has been restored and things are now in their rightful place.
I'm in
with
like
me
44.
soaring above you.
I completely forgot to set my lineup.
Yeah, I saw that
2 weeks in a row, and Kamara's been out, didn't even play, and he's still set as my captain.
You've given up,
this
haven't
is
you?
really great. No, I haven't given up. I've just been neglecting it. Yeah. So, nonetheless, we do have updates to the top 5.
Here, do you want me to do it? Got it right here.
Oh, you got it. Cool.
Boom. So, top 5 stats and trends at John F. Beasy is still on top.
Why are you going to start with the first? Nobody cares. Like, now nobody's going to care about the other ones. You're going to start 5-1.
Job done. Already.
All right. John F. Beasy is uncatchable at this point.
No, so come on, because the number 5 are going to want him names. So, Darren Neal's Dream Team with Popkin steaming ahead of Kevin at 650 points. Jamiroquai's Hat had Kevin Gorham 657 points.
659 points higher than me.
Ooh La La Blobfish Bad Boy.
I love that they changed their name. That's great.
Is the Devil's Curse at 666 points. And Dog for Him by Benson, 676. And of course, at the top, Stats and Trends by @JohnFBZ, 740 points. He is killing everyone in the league. You got a week total of 106 points, Kevin. 106.
I know. Everybody's breaking.
I got 95.
Everybody up there is breaking triple digits, which is sickening.
I know.
Just
he's
sickening.
like 200 points ahead of me. That's not gonna. I guess I bet he doesn't even listen to the show. He just goes around and finds leagues
that he can
and
poach.
Just joins and then see, potentially they could be reprised.
Yeah, that's just rude. But speaking of Blobfish changing his name, how about that 5 Stripe Friday post? I want to hype myself up a little bit.
I mean, of all the of all the Atlanta United podcasts and H Diddles, I think we have the best graphics by far.
Yeah.
The more artistic talent. That was fantastic, Kevin.
Those graphics you can find on all kinds of things, like stickers and hats, which you can find in the shop.
Well, who buys stickers, really?
I mean, oh, fuck. Yeah, we need to take a minute to have a drink for that. Yeah, so we got, I guess we made it. I guess that's what you say.
We did make it.
We finally got trolled. Oh, hey, Tim's not here. You can drink alcohol out of his glass. Oh. It'll be the one and only time alcohol is ever in it. Yeah, so I forget what his name is on Twitter. I'm not even going to give him the satisfaction.
But I think he had like 3 followers.
Yeah,
because of course that's what
somebody just not to be rude, but I'm going to go on a diatribe of 8 back-to-back tweets telling you why I think you selling stickers is stupid.
Not that I'm a jerk, but I am a jerk.
Yeah. Nonetheless, we do have our second and final round of our original trilogy sticker pack up in the shop. Brian Diefenbach in the trap. Thanks, man. Finally ordered the hat and stickers. I think we've got a couple more of those up. I don't remember what the inventory's at, but there are stickers in the shop. The hats will always be in stock, but the stickers we're doing in limited quantities. All the money comes back to the show, and we try not to ask for anything, no handouts or anything like that. But
right.
So all that stuff definitely goes back into the show.
So we each had a cap. So I guess Brian, so that's probably like 2 caps we've sold now. And maybe 3 stickers. That's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's
good job, everyone. Good job.
Yes, Dean, we are recording at Tim's with no Tim. Pirlo's still here, farting it up somewhere, I'm sure. He is.
It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. I mean, we just came over early, ate all the food in Tim's refrigerator, drank all his drinks.
You say that, but there's never any snacks over here. Tim has turned into such an old man.
I know. It's just Pirlo snacks I was eating.
Exactly. Just eating Pirlo cheese.
Pirlo's cheese. Well, I mean, who hasn't made the mistake of picking up a pack of dog treats in the grocery store because they thought they were beef jerky?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, who hasn't done that?
Times. Like, thinking about, like, wait, this doesn't look right. Why is there a dog on the cover?
Is it dog jerky? I think is that a thing now?
Yeah. Is there a difference? Like, what would be the difference in dog jerky versus human jerky? I mean, like the chicken jerky is exponentially drier. It's like
in the dog one.
Yeah, it's plastic.
Oh, really? Well, they like to give it the chew. Like they like to gnaw on it, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that how they help clean their teeth or something?
No, we're not talking about jerky made out of dog, Dean. Come on.
God, Dean, man. Of course, that's where Dean would go. Anyway, so which was your favorite Adam Sandler movie?
I already said Click.
Oh, Click. That's right.
All right. So this weekend we did have a game against LA Galaxy and
the lag, as I like to call them.
Yeah,
the lag, or the Zlat lag, as it is right now.
So, before we get into that, you were out last week. Everybody, we got lots of comments and what is it? Not appraisal. Praise for
me being out.
Not for you being out, for your After Dark segment that you did 2 weeks ago. So people, lots of people saying congratulations to you on the new baby.
Thank you very much.
Happy wishes for that. And hopefully you'll be able to do more of those in the future. But that was my segue into saying, did you have any comments going into this week from last week having been out and not doing one last week?
I just remember last year we gave up a lot of the central midfield. We would just go down the wings. And all I can remember from that fantastic game was Almiron taking the ball and literally running around the center circle, weaving through 5 NYCFC players. It was just a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
He was fantastic in that game. I was thoroughly impressed with him. I thought Barco coming on was pretty. I mean, he was all right.
I think that's what everybody expected to see too.
Exactly, but I've had some people being really unreasonable with their expectations of him.
It's the price tag, man.
He's a human.
Absolutely, he's a human and he's a kid, and I get that he's a kid playing in grown man's league, but at the same time, there's only so much weight you can put on his shoulders. Sure. And that said, he stepped up this week, I thought, big time. So going into this week, we find out that he was going to be starting in the lineup. Tito still out this week. And so we had up top, we had Almiron, and the lineup showed Almiron. Did it show Barco and Martinez up top? I think is what they.
Yeah, it was Barco and Martinez. Then you had Gaza, Jeff, Nags, and Gressel with Almiron in front of them.
Right.
And then McCann, Parky, and LGP in the back.
Right.
With the goose anchoring down.
Holy
the
shit.
Goal.
Man. Yeah, no shit. So thoughts going into the game, thoughts starting out the game.
So could you say that this was MLS 1.0 versus MLS 3.0? I feel that.
What do you mean?
So MLS 1.0 is traditionally buying in older stars. So
yeah.
So, kind of like Orlando.
I think yeah, exactly.
But I feel like Galaxy have been sort of the poster child who have done that.
You say that about Orlando, but look at those guys, 4 in a row now that they've won.
Yeah,
third in the standings. I'm getting more and more nervous coming up on that game.
That's true. Third isn't second though, but
Yeah. And it'll be first after this week once we leapfrog NYCFC.
Let's hope so. Yeah, Portland did us a favor.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting point, especially because there's been so much hype around Zlatan over the past, what's it been, 3 weeks now? He obviously comes out, has a stellar performance against LAFC. But then last week, he was kind of non-existent. He was there, but everyone, obviously, he's always going to be a threat. And the thing, I've never really, you guys know I'm not a big EPL guy, and I know he didn't play in EPL, but
well, he did before he came out.
He did. No,
but yes, but predominantly in other leagues,
right? Just how much he towered over everybody.
Well, it's good seeing that photograph I saw on Instagram
with the high kick.
With the high kick, and Parkas is just like under him, and then it labels the stats.
Yeah,
he's like. Zlatan, hat, no cowl.
Yeah, I think Jay had one of my favorites, which was him with the high kick, but it had an L like diagram in the torso. But yeah, I mean, Dean mentions it. It's really hype about his name and not necessarily performance thus far. I don't think that that's necessarily going to be the standard moving forward. I think that he has a bit of a target on his back, and that's one of the problems with MLS 1.0 is that whenever you are
you shut down that guy.
You shut down that one guy, and everything falls apart. And the way that Atlanta found a way to do that throughout the course of the game was they were bringing in different personnel groupings to do that.
Right.
Parkhurst was on him every time he got inside the 18. Anytime he was on the cusp of the 18, Lorenowitz was on him. And there was times where I saw Lorenowitz like actually bowing up and standing toe to toe with him, and kind of gave him a shove or two here or there, which I definitely liked.
Jeff did, and McCann. That's Elliot Beaven in the chat say, "Oh yeah, Zlatan got McCann. I think he got McCanned."
Yeah.
They both did a number on him, and getting to his supportive players first to deny him that service, so he can't do. I mean, can't do anything with nothing.
Right.
So, but it's interesting. I mean, you shut him down and you shut them down. They're so one-dimensional. I thought I'd see a lot more out of Alessandrini. Didn't see much out of him. Perry Kitchen, I thought he would have been better. I thought actually, when I've seen him in the past, he's been a lot more of a solid player, but we just dominated them.
Yeah.
I remember watching it. The replay on Saturday night, late Saturday night. It was a bad night Saturday. But I was just like, it looked easy for us to take them out.
It did at times. And that was the thing with the game, that it seemed like the last 10 minutes of both the first and second half, I was on the edge of my seat.
Right.
It seemed like everything just started to fall apart. In the first 5 minutes, even, where it seemed like, I mean, that seems to be the natural course of action now, because everyone is having to figure out how to play Atlanta, because they are changing their dynamic so much game to game, week to week,
right?
That the beginning minutes of the game, it seems like week in and week out, are this feeling out process that seems like, well, what's really going to take place? And then all of a sudden the floodgates tend to open up.
Pretty much, yeah. It was nice to see us come back from a penalty, missing a penalty, because the last time we missed a penalty, we lost 4-0.
Absolutely.
So I thought that it was another lens in seeing us respond from a negative. And to be honest, that first game, I kind of just wiped that out, because it was so god awful.
Yeah.
The
Houston game?
Yeah. I don't think anybody learned anything from that, because we weren't playing.
Well, it was a big shakeup for the team, and I'm not going to keep making excuses because it was a loss and it'll be there. But I mean, it was a big shakeup going into that game. The preseason was kind of all over the place. You got Parkhurst in and out with injury. You got Barco going down going into the Houston game.
Right. But if
75% of the back line didn't play all of preseason, and then all of a sudden we're on the road to open up the season,
But I mean, if you're an opponent scouting Atlanta United, there's nothing. I wouldn't rewatch that game.
No, not at all.
Because it's not really going to tell you anything.
So I think to that point, I think one of the things that teams can look at that I think can be exposed about Atlanta that I started to see this week that seems concerning. I think it'll work itself out. But you mentioned about the midfield or lack thereof last year, and that it was really a one-man show with Almiron. I feel like this game in particular, it was too many cooks in the kitchen at times, where the left side of the field was so congested because you have Almiron, who naturally wants to go to that side. You have him interchanging with Barco constantly, where they're trying to weave back and forth in the midfield.
Right.
And then you've got Garza over there pressing too. And so a lot of the game, I felt like that's where some of Atlanta got shut down, was that there were too many people getting in each other's way. There wasn't that 1-2 touch or something like that we would see out of Garza and Assad last year, because they're still trying to figure out how to push and pull. And I don't know if that's because Almiron is there to back up Barco, because Barco's still getting his feet wet or whatever it is. But that left side between the 50 and the 18 got really congested at times, so much so that we were getting in our own way, I felt like.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like you said, you look at the heat map. There's 2 big fat red circles right there on our left-hand side where we...
Yeah. I didn't even look at that to make that point. I fucking see things, dude.
I'm just here to support your arguments with stats, Kevin.
It's a hot take, bro.
It's
on the heat map. I mean, that's a real hot take.
It looks like a pair of balls right there. But yeah, you're right. I thought for the most part we were able to distribute more, but I definitely felt that there was more. We were running things a lot more down the left-hand side, and there were a number of times you would have Barco passing it over diagonally to Gressel.
Oh,
and
there were a couple of pinpoint accurate. Yes.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
It was like Barco did so much. Gressel was controlling it like Berbatov on a one-touch.
And there was one of those where Barco puts it at his feet, and it was almost like, so Gressel has an innate ability to play the one touch across the box, but I think it almost caught him off guard how well the ball's played. That's the ball where he gets it and he's standing in a one-on-one with the keeper, and he pulls it to his left and takes an extra 2 or 3 seconds to figure out, like, oh shit, like I'm in a perfect position to make a play. But nobody else is here, and then he takes that extra step or two and then plays it straight to the keeper, essentially.
In the second half.
Had he just taken a one-touch like he normally would have at goal rather than crossing it in, it was an open goal scenario. But it was just such a perfect setup that it seemed like he didn't know what to do with it.
It felt like the same on the shot which led to the goal as well, because when Gressel struck that, it actually curved to the right-hand side.
Yeah.
So he probably didn't strike it as he meant to, and therefore it hit the bar.
Right.
But I mean, ultimately we got a scrappy goal off the end of it. But
yeah,
that's what we did. What we needed to do to take.
You make a good point about hitting the bar. I mean, how many times did we hit post this game? There was 2 things I made comments of. I don't know which happened more: yellow cards or hitting the post in this game.
Yeah.
So. So first goal, we go down. Almiron gets the PK. Seemed like a good call to me.
Absolutely.
Any objections to that?
Nope.
Seemed like an unnecessary slide, and it happened again in the middle of the field. So my biggest problem with that penalty is that I forget who gets carded in that scenario. Was it what's his name that starts with an S? Was that who got that?
Sklevic.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he got the card for the Almiron PK.
I think so.
But then my issue with it is 10 or 15 minutes later is when Martinez has the goal scoring opportunity where he pulls him down from behind at the top of the 18, and he doesn't get his second yellow card in ejection. Like that just seemed like a no issue call to be made. I mean, obviously
should have VAR'd it.
Yeah, well, there was a couple opportunities like that, right? Where
Did we VAR in the game? Was there any VAR? There was no VAR.
I mean,
it was a non-VAR.
Which I think the only times that I think it may have, I don't think the Zlatan fall at the end was a penalty. I don't think that would have been a good call for VAR. I don't think that the VAR for Almiron would have been a good usage of it. But there was the handball that was in the box that I thought could have warranted. They slowed it down. I don't think it was an intentional handball, but I think it warranted at least a review.
Right. But it was arms close to the chest, right?
No, it was at his side.
Oh, at his side.
It was at his side, and the ball comes in and he smacks it. You can tell that he was trying to get out of the way of it, but it just, with it being in the box, you have VAR there for a reason. That seemed like the only time where I could have argued maybe that should have been utilized.
True. I think it's like last week they seem to be pulling the VAR back a little bit in terms of how much they used it. Like Chapman just glanced at it to reassure, to make a judgment on where the ball was spotted.
Right.
And then this game, it was like, I didn't hear any VAR things this weekend, unless I'm horribly mistaken on something.
No, I didn't see anything either.
So maybe they're like, all right, let's just really back off of it and see what happens.
Yeah, because like you said last week, or was it last week or the week before, that it was just like
the week before last. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So positives, obviously we talk about the first goal. Almiron goes down, get the PK, Martinez hits post. That build up that he does tends to give keepers an insight on which way he's going sometimes, it seems.
So there was a game, which was the game he scored a hat-trick in? It was against DC, I think.
Which time? He scored two. He scored the one. Didn't he score the one against Chicago?
One this season.
Oh, you meant this season. Sorry. I thought you meant last season.
So, and he did the same sort of...
Yeah, that's just the way he does. He cuts to the left, goes up, and then that big drawback.
I will admit that most of the time he's gone to the lower left corner. But I believe it was the one against DC where he was actually able to change in air and hit it the other direction.
Yeah.
But he is getting a little bit predictable. I mean, if I was a keeper, I'm going low left.
Oh, yeah.
If he's going to take a shot.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, or low right if I'm the keeper.
So he takes the PK, bounces out. We get the recovery. And then the next 20 seconds was just a scramble of nerves and yelling at my TV. Shout out to Chase's Bar and Grill, speaking of which. I said my TV, but the wingery in Norcross that's over by the Cotton Gin, best wings I've had in Atlanta, bar none. And they did a viewing party. They actually stayed open late and had a pretty good crowd out there, which was awesome. They had the outside patio open with the little fire pits going and everything. It was great.
Nice. Yeah, it's a beautiful night.
Yeah, it's a good vibe. But yeah, so then the scramble, we hit post, sets up Gressel for a great shot on goal. Or I guess initially it was Almiron at the top of the 18 as a great crack at goal.
Yeah, picked. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Almiron did have a really good shot at goal. Didn't that hit the post?
Yeah, that hits crossbar. That's what kicks it out to Gressel.
It's like recycles around, but then.
And then Gressel hits the top corner. It comes out. And then even Martinez scoring the goal, it had hit the sidebar whenever he hit it.
Yeah, that was. But I mean, Barco, beautiful crossover to Gressel there. Gressel able to sling it off the crossbar, and then we scrambled it in.
So yeah, that happens. When does that happen?
That's in the first half.
Yeah, I know, but what minute? That was in like the 15th, 20th, maybe. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all.
So again, I think Barco had a hell of a game. I was really, really happy with his performance. I think that my concerns in midfield will work themselves out, but that is a concern nonetheless. That we are setting up this play that people aren't necessarily just locked into their positions in the midfield. That you see Almiron drifting more in, you see Barco drifting more in, Almiron drifting more out, and then I guess my biggest, not really concern, but thought is what happens whenever Villalba comes back, because Gressel, as great as he is, does he go back to right back as people talk and Escobar's out? How does that lineup change? I don't know what the right answer is there, but nonetheless, Villalba is going to be at right wing. And
sorry, you finish.
I just don't know how that's going to play out.
I would say we're going to be playing the hot hand, because Gressel's had a really good run right now. Are you saying Tito would come in for Gressel?
Yeah, but I'm saying that Tito naturally drifts as well. Whereas Gressel, I feel much more confident in Gressel locking in and staying on the right wing just as much as I feel confident in Garza staying locked in on left wing.
Right.
Versus Villalba, who's going to have a tendency to drift more. Is that congestion, or is it going to be I forgot the phrase. Somebody said it to me last week. Embarrassment of riches, sort of
champagne problems.
Yeah, exactly. Where we're going to have so many people vying for position and ball control in the midfield that congestion is only going to get worsened.
I think it's going to help us stretch defenses. And I think that if Tito's going to come in the strongest position for Tito, that's going to be as the secondary striker behind Martinez, which currently, based on last game, is Barco's position. I would obviously not play Tito over Barco.
Right.
But I think that Gressel, due to his form, has actually played himself into this squad. And I feel like right now, Tito is the guy left out, and he's going to come off the bench as like a super sub.
Well, because of the injury, right? I mean,
because of...
you think Gressel has now secured the starting role over Tito?
I could see that.
I don't think that that's... I mean, the only reason why I can say that is because...
I feel like it's two different positions right now that...
Right.
Gressel is further out on the right, whereas Tito is going to be further inside rather than
again, which is what which is the
role.
point that I'm making, is that with Nagbe surging up into that central mid, Almiron and Barco crossing back over and sometimes getting congested, and then you bring Villalba in doing the same thing, that can tend to kind of muddy the waters a little bit, in my opinion, where there's too many people trying to vie for that position versus Gressel, who you know is going to be locked in on right wing. But I just... something about Tito's speed and what he brings to an offense that I don't know that I can give that position to him.
But don't you think that would be such a weapon coming off the bench, though? I mean, I think that maybe Barco may be a little faster, but right now, apart from Barco, Tito is the fastest we have.
So let's see what everybody's saying here. I've missed a couple here, so let me scroll up, because the other part of this is there's been a lot of back and forth that came up last week about, and Jay mentioned it, does Gressel to right back? I'm still not bought into that concept of him playing.
Well, that would be going
line
to right back if we revert back to the 4-2-3-1, right?
Right.
I'm not
sold on that, even if we go to a 4-back. And I don't know why we would go to a 4-back at this point whenever our offensive weapons are setting the pace of play.
I think we could revert maybe in game if things are getting really pear-shaped.
So Elliot Bevan says, I think Escobar should stay on the bench for now. When Pack Alpha 84, that's a new name in the chat.
Oh, welcome, Pack Alpha.
Thanks for checking us out, man.
Alfalfa.
When Tito comes back, he should replace Garza in the lineup. That's interesting. So you think Tito should be on left wing?
Garza. Haven't heard that one before.
I haven't either. Let's see what else we got.
Though to be fair, Tito has inverted on the left once or twice. I mean, remember that Galazzo that he scored against?
We got a oh no, it was Pack Alpha again. Gressel got a start. He's too hot right now from De Burton Boise. I haven't seen that name in a while.
I just worry that Tito isn't going to have the stamina to play in that wingback role that Garza plays right now.
Brittany says she doesn't agree, but there's so many things. I don't know what you mean. Yeah, she's saying she thinks that Tito should be starting. Gressel owns right back by Brian is bored. Gressel is playing all-star level by Danny. I agree, Danny. I think Gressel's playing great, but I don't know where he fits in this lineup right now with Tito coming back healthy. And while I can tend to agree with Dan's comment that maybe he is vying for a starting role and Tito coming in as a super sub, I don't know that I want to see Tito coming in as a super sub consistently.
And we haven't seen Tito play with his shaved head.
It
might be like me playing.
That's pretty
We don't know. We haven't seen it. We haven't seen it for 90 minutes. How are we going?
Just give him a chance.
It's going to get red carded.
Alan M. I think Tata wants the strategic freedom to mix and match for the opponent. Pack Alpha 84. No, find a way to keep Gressel and Tito on the field at the same time. I agree. I think both of them should be, but does that mean that Gressel goes back to right back? I don't know that that's the right.
I think we can do that when we sub Barco off for Tito in the 75th minute. Sorry.
So yeah, it seems like everybody is kind of back and forth with the same stuff. I think the one player, and Pack Alpha mentions this as well, I think the one player that I think I would like to see get some bench time is not Gressel, it's not Garza, it's not Gressel, it's not Tito, it is Garza. Because of his shoulder injury,
labrum, torn labrum.
We'll see it. Like, did you hear him talking about like popping his shoulder back into place during?
He is, in the words of NoFX, he's more punk than me.
Jesus, I mean, I think if anybody out of that lineup that came in this weekend should get some time on the bench, it would be Garza. And I think that that would do the whole team and depth some good rather than trying to take out a player. Like Garza's played great. I'm not saying he's playing terrible, but he has a nagging injury that needs time and it needs to be remedied. Need
surgery? I think it needs surgery.
Nonetheless, I mean, even if it does, I think that I'm comfortable taking him out rather than, because with that back line of him, Parkhurst, and LGP, I feel much more confident taking Garza out, putting Barco back over on left wing, and then bringing in Tito.
George Bello.
No, bringing in Tito back in that midfield along with Gressel still on right wing.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. So one of the things I like about this 3-5-2 formation is the midfield, because Barco can pull in. We can get kind of amorphous, and I think it helps to sow confusion against the opponent. And I like Barco being able to swing to the left or to the right, which puts Garza in more of a supporting role. Like we saw, you looked at the heat maps, Barco's along the left a lot, right, as well with Almiron. And that helps. I feel like that helps preserve Garza a little bit. And I think he's got more better defensive.
It does. I want him to be preserved in a long-term stand. Like I don't want to just keep throwing duct tape on it. I mean, Danny has a good point. He's torn. He's being held together by gum and duct tape. And I don't want us to keep perpetuating that. If we have Escobar healthy, if we have Tito healthy, we do not need to be starting Garza knowing that he has a nagging injury whenever we have players that we can adjust this lineup to suit Garza resting some to get to 100%.
And I could see that in the 3-5-2.
Before it is necessitated by the fact that he gets the injury even worse than it already is.
Right. Because then we're putting in Ambrose.
Yeah. Well, I think then we just go back to, like I was saying, I think Barco goes over on left wing, and then you put Martina or Tito in the middle with Almiron, and then Gressel still on right wing with that 4.
The only thing with putting Barco over there is that he's going to have to drop back and play that more defensive role more frequently, and I don't think that plays to his strengths.
That's a good point.
Because also this 3-5-2 formation allows us to drop 5 in the back more easily than if it was the 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of our strengths, especially last season when we were able to swarm forth and swarm back again. Because we're able to be with these 3 these 3 center backs that we're playing. I feel like that gives us a stronger defensive foundation rather than them, doing that swinging back and forth with the 4-2-3-1, where we're sending one of our wing backs forward and then we're having to jostle. Like, well, who's our point of reference? Where do we stay? Which one stays? I just think it's a little bit more of a oh my gosh, what is the word? Stubborn defensive lineup.
More stout?
Stout, yes.
There you go.
Jeez.
That's what I'm here for. Okay, so we go through the first half. The last 10 minutes, like I said, everything kind of seemed to fall apart. That's when I got a little worried. Overall, though, I thought my concerns first half were pretty few and far between. A lot of just missed random chances. It wasn't that they weren't capitalizing on opportunities. People were in space to make plays, to step up. It just didn't bounce our way. One thing though, Guzan stepping up big, even though the 2 real viable shots that took place in the course of the game were offsides by the Galaxy. Guzan stops both of them without any issue prior to the ref actually blowing the whistle. The 1-2 that he had to stop, and he just got himself all psyched up. Yeah. I saw somebody post something about like Guzan's that guy standing in the back of the room pounding beers or something like that. Right. So I needed to get a Guzan 316, like a Stone Cold Brad Guzan poster, because I just posted that gif of Stone Cold Steve Austin slamming beers together.
See, that's one of the things I like about him over Can, because Guzan's a little crazy. Khan seems well too with it to be
you want,
a really
you want somebody to be a
goalkeeper.
little bit of a loose
on edge.
cannon. Yeah. I mean, that's going to go up and take big chances that are going to pay. I mean, that challenge he goes up against Zlatan is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, for him to get up and pull that ball down the way he did, that's a huge play. And that's a big momentum booster for us to know that.
Oh, absolutely.
Even if something slips behind the back line, we've got somebody to go up and pull it down. So,
yeah.
So first half, I think that's everything I had. Second half, a little bit more of the same. I don't really think that Atlanta faltered at all over the course of the 90 minutes, aside from those 10 minutes at the end of both of the halves. And even then, it didn't seem like it was completely out of control. It just seemed more like a fatigue issue. And I liked that they came out in the second half and they didn't perpetuate that. To that same point, we see Tata use all three substitutions, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, Kratz, Williams, and Zizzo.
Yeah.
It was great. Kevin Kratz, great guy. I mean, I loved his performance last week. I didn't think he was as good as everyone's saying what he was. I felt like he was great, but he was kind of the weaker link in midfield. But I love Kevin Kratz going off the bench. Having him, I feel like, has improved our depth, especially in the second season.
Yeah.
Romario Williams, I feel, is a perfect guy to throw in for Martinez, especially with Barco as that secondary striker. You know, he can hold up big physical presence. He can hold up play. He can shoot when he wants to. Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, Romario coming in on that corner and getting up and heading that out. I mean, that's exactly what we need him there to do. And yeah, and people are talking about that now. Danny mentioning Kratz's pass to Williams and how great Romario played. I thought that he has done head and shoulders above what we expected him to do coming into this season. A lot of the talk about up top was how is Brandon Vasquez going to fit in, because he had typically played that Martinez substitution role if it wasn't Kenwin last year.
Yes, he had. Yeah.
Romario was a new element to that, and seeing how that was going to play out, I thought that so far this season, I mean, he's got one goal this season out of his, 4 appearances in 6 games, 3 or 4.
Total of like, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes.
Maybe 45 minutes. He's got 1 goal and sets up the foul that draws Almiron's PK at the end of this game too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's done everything that we could have asked of him to do.
So comparing Williams and Vasquez, I worry a little bit about Vasquez because he's not as fast.
Agreed.
And Williams has that speed now. And it's something I didn't really pick up on, obviously, until this season. But yeah, I worry about Vasquez now. I worry that maybe he's not going to reach the potential that we have. That's probably being pedantic and making a man out of a molehill, but what you going to do? Yeah, I think great guy. We've got great depth. Who brought that up? Dirty Bird person. Romario is going to be a USOC monster. I am interested to see what he does when he starts. I think Dirty Bird person might be another new name in the trap. Oh, welcome, Dirty Bird person. Yeah, thanks for checking us out, man. Dirty birdie. All of this conversation goes back to what Brian Diefenbach says. We have so much depth that it's almost embarrassing. I think it is. Got depth coming out my taps. What? Alan Partridge reference. Never mind. Sure, definitely got that, and so did 2 other people. So Tim is sapping Wi-Fi off the lodge next door. Like I said, he's out west doing some. Can we? Sorry, what were you going to talk about? I was going to see if I could call him and see if he'd pick up. All right. Well, while you're doing that, Brian S. Board makes a very good point. It was something I was thinking about earlier. We don't have much depth at the 6th position, and what makes the current formation we're playing so effective is Jeff's presence on the field. Hey, what's up, man? I just wanted to make sure we got you on the show since you texted me right in the middle of recording. Yeah, we're sitting in the middle of a lodge, and I'm surprised I was able to get a phone call. I'm really glad that you did. This is perfect. Tim, me and Kevin have managed to put on every item of clothing between us that you own. Was this window broken before? Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, cool.
Yeah, the youths in the neighborhood. Okay. I think they smashed it up. I don't know. I tend not to worry.
And
about
the soundboard's always
for that reason.
And the soundboard's always made this weird buzzing noise with the smoke that comes out the back, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, did you not see the sparks that came out of the headphone splitter whenever you plugged in the?
Oh, dude, that freaked me out.
Yeah. When those termites started coming through the wall, I was like,
that. "Yeah, I don't know why it does that, but sooner or later, it's gonna catch some kindling in the den whenever that fireplace actually works.
It's gonna catch
the studio.
It's just gonna catch some of that exposed mineral fiber that I cut out of the table to put the board in. The whole thing's gonna go up in flames.
Yeah. Did you guys figure out whether or not they whenever they went through security at the airport, did they find Zlatan in Chris McCann's back pocket or no?
Dude, I loved seeing the post on Instagram or whatever of McCann holding Zlatan's jersey. Did you see that?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So what were your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts on the game?
Huh?
What were your thoughts on the game?
We were way too fast for him. I'm surprised they finished the game with 11 men. It was the way that Miggy and Barco were able to weave in and out with each other. It's kind of hard to keep track of who was who at times watching on the plane because we were watching. ESPN Plus was fantastic, by the way.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we were streaming it on the plane. We bought that.
Who wants to give me their sign-in information? Okay, great.
I got you on that. Anyway, so that I don't know. They're going to leave somebody open. You saw that time and time again. Again, Gressel just wide open constantly on the right side. And a lot of that has to do with, Miggy and now Barco drawing so much attention on the left side and being able to cut in and all that. Just that sequence of play that led to that. The first goal was incredible.
The first goal that should have been 4 goals back to back to back. Really.
Barco dropping dimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jesus.
So Joseph is no longer taking penalties, I'm guessing.
I don't know. Dan had mentioned that he seems to be pretty predictable going on that low left.
Oh, I think he just needs to maybe change it up.
I think so too.
I don't think he's lost that job yet. Because Almiron's
that wasn't a bad penalty. It was no worse than Barco's wide open shot at the top of the 18 that went into the upper deck.
I mean, an inch to the to the right, could have gone in.
Carleton's was pretty terrible too. Carleton's was worse.
See, that's one I didn't see, but I heard it looked just like Joseph's, but went way into the stands.
Yeah, it was awful.
No, I was happy with the result. I'm excited to see what happens against Montreal on Saturday, Sunday. Yeah,
Saturday. You're gonna miss that one, right? You're gonna miss the one that Dan actually goes to.
I'm going to that one.
I'm gonna be all right. We're gonna be sitting lakeside of Lake Tahoe in our cabin.
So all right, we gotta let you go.
Well, still,
gotta
whatever.
Let you go.
Yeah, speaking of which, I got to get back to enjoying some more complimentary food at this lodge in Sequoia.
Yeah, I've enjoyed my complimentary food at the lodge in Smyrna, which is basically your pantry and refrigerator.
That's right. We drank all the milk.
I really hope you're not enjoying all the food that I left for Noel.
Definitely am. I hope that's okay. I mean, I've known you longer. I got dibs. I got perma dibs.
Just call Postmates and have them refill the fridge or freezer.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
All right. Well, I guess I got to put in a call. I got to steal somebody's Wi-Fi while I'm up here.
All right, man. I'll catch you later.
All right.
Peace out, Tim.
Bye.
Oh, we didn't get his prediction.
Oh, well. Fuck it. So, yeah, you're going out to the game this weekend. Any final thoughts? We got about 15 minutes here.
So, we need to be looking for a 6. I know Mbia is done and dusted. He's not coming in. Hopefully the team is looking for more potential future 6 roles. Jeff is going to need a break at some point, I feel like.
Oh, speaking of Jeff, we didn't even talk about the parlay jerseys.
Oh, and his number game ripped off?
Well, just in general. Did you? So I remember texting you guys because I
didn't get one in the end.
I got one.
Yeah.
And then I didn't realize that they were going to be this hot commodity that's selling for $300 on eBay now.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is that Jay Riddle selling his jersey again?
I don't know. And then, so they sold out in 20 minutes online or whatever it was. And then MBS got a shipment in.
Yeah, I couldn't line up.
And the store opened at 10. And apparently at 6 a.m., there was already 10 or 15 people in line. Yeah, pretty crazy. And then, of course, like I said, Lorenowitz starts falling apart as he's wearing.
I feel like he already
shreds
lost
by the end of it.
I'm pretty sure he's lost a digit on his jersey in a previous game last season.
Did he?
I'm sure he did. What somebody did.
I know. I think I remember somebody
in the trap. If anyone can remember that, unless I'm just talking out my ass and not remembering something.
Alex Christensen. I think that's another new name. Holy shit! Tim should leave more often. This is great.
This is amazing. Alan M.
Do you think Awo could step up at any point this season? I think he's stepped up in the one game that we called him up to. I don't know that he'll get the opportunity to step up in a capacity that will garner a starting position on a regular basis. But whenever we call him up, what game was that? 2 or 3?
That was Minnesota.
That was whenever Larry got hurt. I think he played great.
Yes, he did. He came on for about 15 minutes, I think, and did a very good job with what he had. So that is potentially, Awo could be that depth there. I mean, we've got Oliver Shannon, but I've heard a rumor, an unsourced rumor, that maybe he's not doing as great in ATL2 as we hope.
My love for him will not allow me to confirm nor deny that. Also, just the fact that I've been really, really busy the past few weeks, and unfortunately, I've done my best to catch the Atlanta United games, much less Atlanta United 2. It's been a result of having to watch highlights, so I can't really just.
I feel like the realistic.
I think George Bello is still ready to step up.
Well,
even not watching, I think I know.
Well, obviously,
I think I know. I've got a feeling. I think we just pull all of Atlanta United 2. It just to see what another team does. Just complete switch out. Just all of Atlanta United 2 starting, and then pull everybody out of Atlanta United to go play an Atlanta United 2 game.
Well, that's what they do in the Open Cup. But I think right now the best.
Holy shit, dude. We're going to be a real contender in Open Cup. All this talk about depth, that's where the depth really comes into play.
Exactly. And like later in the season. But anyway, I'll try this a fourth time. I think the best.
I've got something else I want to talk about.
I think the best depth for Larry right now is Kratz. I know he's a little bit more attacking, but he's got Tata's trust. And I feel like he's going to be, he's integrated in the squad a lot more than Awo has. So I think Kratz would be the guy who would be replacing Jeff if he gets injured or anything like that.
I'm just going to awkwardly be quiet now. I don't want to.
But I'm hoping that Awo could step up. I mean, he's 23. So, I mean, he's at the age where he should be a realistic consideration.
Yeah. All right. So going into this weekend against Montreal, thoughts?
All right,
back in the Benz. You're going to the game. Are you gonna be able to tailgate it all? I know it's an early.
I'm not sure.
Game.
I'm going with my dad, my father-in-law, my brother-in-law, and my other brother-in-law. So
that sounds like a good.
It's going to be actually
rowdy crew.
That's right. Yeah,
you really should go, man. I mean, it'll be a good weekend. I think I saw Terminus Legion and All Stripes are both doing breakfast-themed food truck type. Things,
breakfast is my favorite meal.
I think All Stripes is doing a biscuit something or other, and Terminus Legion is doing a breakfast food truck. It should be a good time. Awesome. Game's at 1:00, so you got to get down there pretty early.
Yeah, what time are you going down there? 10?
I'll probably head down at 10. I'll get there right around 11, and that'll give me a good hour and a half to kind of meander.
Yeah.
And
I'll put it to the crib because I got some olds coming with me.
Yeah,
they're like in the 60s.
Yeah.
Almost 70.
Yeah. See, Alan M gets it. Mimosas and Bloody Marys, dude. That's just the way to go.
Bloody Marys, absolutely.
Yeah. Or, dude, just do like a whiskey sour or like a whiskey sunrise or whatever it is.
Sure. I mean, I'd do a Bloody Mary. I'm good with that.
I'm not. Bloody Marys are just so hit or miss for me.
Oh, really?
Like I like them really spicy.
Had a bad one.
I like them really spicy. Sometimes they're just too chunky. Chunky Bloody Mary. Oh, so good. It's like, did you put Rotel in this?
I don't like them too spicy because then they tend to be a little thin.
Is this gazpacho with vodka in it?
I like the Zing Zang. That's pretty good.
Zing Zang? What is that?
It's a Bloody Mary mix.
Oh, yeah. I think Tabasco is the one that I like. That they have a or maybe not Tabasco. I don't know. Somebody's got like a pepper, like a 5 pepper one or something like that.
Oh, nice. You should put some of the smoked Chipotle
or I should
Tabasco
just
in
go
there.
get a bucket of 5 pepper Arby's sauce and make Bloody Marys with that. Maybe dip a little beef and cheddar into it.
Who would abuse their body like that?
It's not any worse than what I've already been. I feel
that's
like
true.
my body's going to revolt if I don't continue that at this point.
All right. Do you want to get into Montreal?
Okay,
I have
Keith.
some thoughts.
Keith has been quiet the entire show and comes in just to poke holes in the fact that we were inept at doing a live show in the Gulch last week.
That was all Tim's fault. That's why he's not here anymore.
It's not Tim's fault. We're all in this together. It's partially you guys' fault too. You guys didn't remind him to bring the computer, so we blame that on you guys. We'd be more dedicated if we got more reviews in iTunes.
That's
Maybe
right.
That's really
We're never going to podcast again until we get a review.
Not another live show until we get more reviews in iTunes. No,
I guess I'll just have to set up that Hotmail account.
We're not going to do a live show this weekend. Tim is still going to be out of town, as we mentioned. We're trying to figure out when the next failed attempt will be doing that. So, because we missed 2 that we had planned, and we need to make that up to you guys some way or another. So, your thoughts?
All right. I think that Atlanta's strengths at having our fast pace and being able to hit them on the counter will actually help us out. I also think the ability to pressure them and potentially force errors. And I think we'll be able to force errors. So in their last 7 games, they've had a different defensive lineup. Either it's been their first game was 4-1-4-1, so that's one lineup. Then they played a 4-4-2 with different personnel in the back line. And then they've played, since from there, they've played the Christmas tree formation, a 5-3-2, but they've had a different personnel grouping for every single game. So surely there is a lack of chemistry there between those guys.
You know what's crazy? In their past 3 games, they've gotten a red card in 2 of them.
Right, exactly.
And in their past 4,
and
one that they won against Seattle had a red card.
What are Atlanta United really good at doing? Drawing fouls.
That's true.
So I could potentially see this could go really horrible for Montreal. It's got that potential to do that. So if we can, get one of them sent off, which is a great strategy to go into the game with.
Let's just dive.
So we're going to have, because of that Christmas tree formation, it is a stronger defensive lineup, which makes them better equipped to deal with counterattacks. But since they don't seem to have that well-gelled defensive footing, it could work in our favor. Also, Wigan, I think if we shut down Piatti, that is going to be most of their attack. This formation calls for him to be that.
Did Piatti have a hat trick this past weekend?
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, against LAFC, who are not that great defensively, as we've seen.
True.
So you need to take Beitashour out of your lineup, Kevin, because doesn't really matter anymore, does it?
Shut up, Tim. You don't love us.
So I think if we shut down him, which we are more than capable of doing, I think we could easily get a clean sheet. I'm calling 3-0.
3-0. Okay. I will go comparable. I think all of those are valid points. The thing that stands out to me, like I said, are the swings that they've had in games that have been dictated by red cards or teams that we know aren't really doing that great to begin with. I think it is going to be a game that I think it might be another shutout. I won't go as high as 3-0. Shit. See, the fact that it's at home makes me think that it will be a high scoring game. I'm thinking maybe 3-1. But yeah, I feel like a 3-1, especially seeing that offense the way it clicked this past week on the road, knowing that that's going to kind of work itself out a little bit more, coming back into the bins, the crowd will be involved. Montreal, who were they on the road this past week against LAFC?
They were not.
They were not. They were at home. So nonetheless, that's a long trek for them on the road to the bins. I could see it getting out of control. It's an early day game. I'll stick with 3-1 on that.
3-1. Okay.
Jay, is not. So Jay is talking about the fact that he got the scoreline right. We do have a prediction league at gethomebeforedark.com. We've made it so that you guys can register so that it helps us keep track of it and post the result a little bit better. Jay did guess the scoreline right. He is not being suppressed, so much so that if you check his Twitter, we have some things that may or may not be coming soon through him, we'll say. And stay tuned for that. We'll be sure to keep you guys posted on that. So some of the posts in the trap: Brittany S 4-0, Tim 4-0. Alex Christensen says it's either a steamroller or a trap game. Yeah, the trap game is another big point of that. I don't buy trap game. The fact that it's at home. If it was on the road, I could see that maybe.
Everything on paper says this should be an Atlanta blowout.
Agreed. A lot of people also agreeing with the 3-1. I don't know that it would be necessarily a shutout. A lot of people are thinking high scoring game all around. So I buy it.
Cool.
I buy it. Any other? Yeah, we have no new reviews. Housekeeping. I think we got everything, guys. I'm so happy we did this. Dan, we did it.
Kevin, we did. You did most of it. I mean,
yeah.
Good job pushing all those buttons. Good job not pushing all those buttons.
I mean, what happens if I start turning all these knobs?
No. The camera's been great. The live chat hasn't gone out. The audio is going to be great.
It is great, except for
good job, everyone.
You guys did it. We all did it. Any other closing comments before we end this thing?
Wait, what's this? Bo David. Dan was willing to keep up, as I recall, at the start of the season. Oh, the score sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we digitized it now. It's good.
Yeah. So you can go to Get Home Before Dark. Oh, I guess that would be a good point. GetHomeBeforeDark.com. There's predictions. You can find all the subscribe links to all of the content that we have, past, present, and future. You can buy H4D hats in the shop. You can get stickers in the shop. Even though I don't know why you would want to buy a sticker.
Yeah.
Don't know what you would do with them. I mean, what's the point? Just to say, hey, I listened to this podcast. What would you even stick it on? I don't know. But nonetheless, it's all there. And MLS Fantasy is there. Tim is still not here. I really don't know what to do with myself. So with that, you can find all of us on Twitter. Dan, where can they find you at?
You can find me at DNJMS.
Bo David said that you're the real MVP.
Thanks, Bo David.
You just fucking show up.
Bo David, he's the man right there.
You show up, you just plop down,
Bo David,
or you just pull out your phone and record a few minutes, and then everybody loves you.
Bo David is actually my screen name on YouTube.
You can find Tim at his name. That's at Tim Herb. You can find me as well at The Architect. That's at the_ARC. The number 1 TECT. Collectively at Home Before Dark. That's before spelled B, and the number 4. Go check out gethomebeforedark.com. We'll see you out there Saturday. Hopefully Dan can get his arse out there with his whole rowdy bunch.
All the family.
And we look forward to seeing you guys. I look forward to seeing you guys. Until then, as always, be home before dark.
We're just going to go get some French fries and gravy, sir.
Ooh, gravy.
Nice.